Dave, if Joe Biden wins the presidency in November, we're going to see White House economic policy turn right upside down. You know, Donald Trump cut taxes, mainly for corporations and the wealthy, but also for the middle class. Joe Biden would raise taxes for corporations and anybody making over $400,000 a year. You know, Donald Trump cut regulation, largely green regulation, environmental regulation. You know,
some financial also, yeah.
Financial regulation, lots of regulation.
Yeah.
You know, Biden would put some of that back on. Certainly, the green regulation he put back on. You know, Trump spent the last 4 years trying to get rid of Obamacare, undermine it. You know, Biden would subsidize and increase the subsidies and add a public option. We haven't even started to talk about trade policy yet. What do you think?
Oh yeah, no, I think there's a lot of contrast between Biden and Trump when it comes to economics. I think Biden in general would favor higher taxes, more regulation in certain areas, and on trade, I think the differences are there. Maybe not as great as you might think. I mean, when Biden was part of the Obama administration, they were very pro-free trade, signed the Trans-Pacific Partnership and other trade agreements. I think the Democratic Party has moved away from that free trade position, though I don't think you'd see Biden revisit some of those policies. But I do think he'd be less likely to escalate the tariff war with China. Might even over time back off from some of the tariffs Trump put in place,
or perhaps negotiate a deal, which would be obviously the best solution.
Yeah, I think you would see a more multilateral approach in a Biden administration. I think you'd see him re-embrace the World Trade Organization, the World Health Organization, which Trump wants to pull out of.
The Paris Accords on climate change.
Exactly.
That would be back on. So less pro-business, more pro-environment, certainly more consumer if you need healthcare.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't characterize a Biden stance as anti-business. He would raise taxes, which is, which business doesn't like, but Trump has been pro certain kinds of business. He's definitely favored, like the steel industry, energy, kind of basic, the real basic industries, the smokestack industries, as it were. I think they would, but I think they would face tougher regulations under a Biden administration. But you got to say, macroeconomic forces really kind of rule the fortunes of those industries anyway. It's not like Trump has succeeded in reviving the coal industry,
right,
or boosting the steel industry's fortunes all that much.
A point, any president has only a limited amount of control over the U.S. economy. A president doesn't run the economy runs itself, really.
That's true. And I've looked at kind of long-term averages, and if you look at over time, the economy actually does a little better under Democratic presidents than under Republican ones. The stock market also does better during Democratic administrations. Now, I'm not going to argue that it's because of the Democrats' policies, or the Republicans' policies were bad for business. A lot of it is, it's due to luck and timing. I mean, Obama came into office in the depths of the Great Recession, for instance, and the economy was kind of ready to rebound by the time he got there. His policies helped, maybe, but there was momentum building up. The economy had bottomed out at that time.
Bill Clinton came in, raised taxes.
Yes.
And what followed was the greatest economic boom we've seen in decades.
Right, but you had the technology, the technology boom in the 90s. That was all on his watch. And so there are forces, out there that are a lot more powerful than anything that's going to happen in the halls of power in Washington. Right now, the biggest force is obviously COVID-19. I think the course of the economy in 2021 and going forward is going to depend largely on whether the virus is under control.
That's true, and obviously a president doesn't have any control over that. He can simply, well, actually, he does have a little bit of control because,
he has influence.
Because theoretically, you might get a deal that has evaded Congress. Perhaps a second bailout, although January is kind of late for that, or February, the earliest you can get it through. One thing that I do like about Biden's approach is he adopted a little bit of Bernie Sanders in terms of the education side. He would build the community college system, which trains a lot of people for semi-skilled jobs, and he would make community college free. He would lower the cost of going to state four-year colleges. And I think that can provide a long-term economic boost.
Oh, I think workforce policy in general is one of the most kind of powerful things that that government can do. I mean, we've got to raise productivity over the long term. We've got to educate and train our workforce. So I would welcome things along those lines. One interesting policy area is infrastructure. I think there's probably a good chance, no matter who wins, that we'd see an infrastructure bill early in the next Congress.
Well, I've expected one of those for the last 4 years, since both sides are saying they want one.
Yeah.
But we don't seem to have one. But I don't know, perhaps a strong push from the White House might do it. I mean, certainly if the Senate turns over, it might do it.
Right, and that's another point. The policies the next presidents will be able to put into effect depend greatly on the makeup of Congress. If the Democrats don't control the Senate, President Biden would have a hard time getting a lot of his policy agenda through. Certainly, the tax increases would be probably dead on arrival in a Republican Senate.
That's true, and although President Trump has managed to do a lot just with his pen in executive order, certainly in terms of regulation, and that can have a modest effect on the economy overall.
Right, but again, the economy has a lot of momentum one way or another because of of other forces, technology, COVID-19, global conditions. The president has has influence, but in the final analysis, it's not all that determinative of whether we move forward.
That's correct.